As we sit covered in a cloud of smoke, the pasuk which certainly comes to mind in this week's parsha, Kein yeh tamid, so it is all the time. Anan yechasenu u'marei laila. That over the course of the day, there was a cloud that was hovering over us and the fire at night. And the pasuk is obviously referring to the Anan Yaakov, the clouds of glory that guided Bnei Yisrael through the Midbar. And there's a Ramban who has an important insight into the psukim in this week's parsha related to the travels of Bnei Yisrael. Because there's a whole paragraph, a whole bunch of psukim that tell the story of how Bnei Yisrael traveled. Ubiyom HaKim is HaMishkan, the day that the Mishkan was put up, Kisah Hanan is HaMishkan, the cloud came over the top. And then the next pasuk, Ken yeh tamid, as it is all the time, Ulefi Beha'aloscha Hanan me'al Ohel. And when the cloud would lift up, V'acharei chen yisu Bnei Yisrael, then Bnei Yisrael would know, you know what? The cloud left. It's time to follow it. It's time to travel. Ubimkom asher yishkan sham ha'anan sham yachanu Bnei Yisrael. And when it would come to rest, now they knew this is the place where we have to rest. So it gave them a sign. They didn't know when they were supposed to travel. They're in the midbar. They're in the wilderness, and they needed to know when it is that we're supposed to travel. So the cloud told them, not by what it said, but by what it did. It would start journeying, and then it would stop. And then the Torah goes into great detail. And it was a long time. They wouldn't go. And sometimes, and they would still go according to the message of Hashem. Sometimes, and the cloud would be there for a day, for the night, and the next morning it would move. Or another day or two, and then it would go. Or maybe an extended period of time, a month, a few days. The message was still the same. It would only go according to what Hashem told them to do. And the Ramban is troubled. Why do we have to have all of the examples? The rule is clear from the first pasuk. The message from Hashem would come through the cloud stopping, and then they would travel forward, and the cloud would go again, then it would stop. Why do we have to have different examples of how long it would be? Explains the Ramban. Lomar, it's too to teach us. Sometimes maybe the Mishkan would stay in a place where for a long time. But the Jews didn't like the camp that they had chosen. We get to choose our hotel when we travel. They didn't get to choose. And maybe it's become like, ooh, I don't want to stay here. They wanted desperately to leave, to move somewhere else. Still, they stayed put until Hashem told them to go. And then maybe it would be 2 or 3 days. And they were exhausted from the previous travel. And now it's moving. Wait, we don't want to go yet. They would fulfill the desire of God, and they would travel according to the cloud. The steep road, and then it tells us, sometimes it would just the next morning. And it was a tremendous burden. Think about it. They thought they were going to stay for a while. So they put out all their suitcases, they unpacked. And then the next thing they know, it's time to travel again. And then they had to pack up again. And they would not be able to make for themselves preparations. They just had to go. And they would go. Or sometimes they wouldn't know if they should unpack. And then they would end up being there for a long time. But the message is one, and the message is the same. And I think the deeper message is that there are different stops and different places where we encamp along our lives. And we don't always know how long we're going to be in that place. We don't know if this is a bump in the road where we really want to leave. We just can't get out of there. Or maybe this is where we want to be, and now we seem to be pushed out of there. The only koach that we have to weather through whatever it is that's coming our way is Api Hashem Yachanu Api Hashem Yisau. When we have the Amunah, when we tap into that Hashem is the one who is bringing us, who is accompanying us on the path. We are not alone. That gives us the strength. that gives us the amunah, that gives us the knowledge and the fortitude to be able to push forward. That's the message of these psukim. It's al pi Hashem yachnu pi Hashem yiso, is to always remember that the path that we are taking is one in which Hashem follows with us. And at times we can see it, at times we can't. But when we understand and we appreciate that knowledge, it gives us the comfort, gives us the ability to be mishamer, to watch over, to take advantage, and to maximize wherever it is that we are, and to move forward to the next stop when Hashem determines that that is the role we should take.